Good morning. Thank you for the thorough. Enough about me. So, what we're going to look at today is, first, who here teaches kindergarten? I'm going to see lots of hands up. I see at least 5, 10 hands. Okay, well, lucky you if you do teach kindergarten. And if you don't, some of the things we're doing today can also be applied for primary school learners as well. Maybe not for high school or university. Depends how fun you are as a teacher. But hopefully we can all learn something. So first we're going to look at the characteristics and the needs of young learners. What is a very young learner? Then look at what is toy team. If you're very observant, you'll see that there's toy team up there in the corner on the original slide. It's one of our new books. I'm going to just introduce it briefly today. Then we'll look at some practical ideas for teaching with toy team. I've taken some examples from the book and just some ideas of how I would run some enjoyable activities in class with very young learners. Then we'll look briefly at using the story, different techniques for using the story in class. I hope you'll love using the story, it's one of my favorite things. And finally, check out a bit of feedback, and a chance to reflect on what we've learned. That's all the boring stuff. Let's get started. Introduction. What do you think are the characteristics or the needs of very young learners, aged from around 3 to 5? I want you to think, and if you've noticed, you have some things on your table. There are some things you're not allowed to touch, like the plates, or the little coins, or the QR codes. There's one thing that you are now allowed to touch, and that is the big A3 paper on your table. I would like you to take a pen and with your group, spend around 2 or 3 minutes brainstorming what do you think very young learners need, and what are their characteristics. For example, you might say they have short attention spans, something like that. This is an opportunity for us to share our ideas, and we won't look at them immediately. We'll play a game first, but I'm interested to know what you think. So, when I say go, you will have 2.5 minutes working with your group. 3, 2, 1, go. We're not going to share our ideas just yet, because we're going to do a quick game before we share our ideas, and we're going to quickly compare. So, now we're going to play a game, and in this game, there might be a prize for the winning team. Who likes prizes? Everyone likes prizes. Okay. So, let me think. I think today our first prize will be 2 calendars, 2 OUP calendars. The new year is starting very soon, the Western calendar, on the 1st of January. So you'll have a nice fancy new calendar for your office, okay? I'm assuming we're all sat with our colleagues, and if we're not, you have to rip it in half and share it around, because you'll only have 2 for your table. Now, I have picked out 5 different characteristics that I'm going to cover today in this session. But I'm not just going to tell you what they are, because that would be boring. You're going to have to figure out what they are by yourself on your teams. I'll give you an example here. So, for example, if you see this word here, the words are going to scramble. That's a drumming. Right. There are 5 different words. The first team who figures out the 5 words, writes them down, and puts their hands on their head, everyone on your team must have their hands on their head, will be the winner, and they will win 2 calendars. So, how many different words are there? 5. Yeah, you've got them all. Where do you put your hands? Okay, we're good at this already. Wonderful. Right. So, are we ready to begin? Yes. Are we ready to begin? Yes. There we go. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, we have one group very confident over here. We're still going, we're still going. You're missing. You're still going. Calendar is still up for grabs. You're missing one. We always seem to be struggling on one. Let's see if we can figure it out. I can see a hand up. Oh, we have two teams with their hands on their head at the exact same time. It's a photo finish. Let me see. Correct. We have two winners! Okay. So I hope you're all colleagues because both teams will get one calendar as your prize. So everyone please say well done to this team and this team. Jason, this team over here. And which school are you guys from? 𝐓𝐞𝐚𝐦 School? Is that in the name? Well, they also have very intelligent teachers. And what school are you guys from, Scotland? Oh, they've got the home ground advantage. Okay, maybe they looked at my slides before. Right. I'm just joking. Well done, well done. So, like I said, I just picked out these 5 ones because I'm going to focus on these 5 elements today. And instead of just telling you what they were, I was going to just turn it into a quick game. So, this is what we'll focus on today. So, 𝐓𝐸 was learning through play. 𝐓𝐸 was hands-on learning. 𝐓𝐸 was repetition. Everyone struggled with this one. Imaginative. And active learners, which I think most of us got. Hands up who got 4 out of 5. Hands up who got 3 out of 5. Who got 2 out of 5? Who got 1 out of 5? And who got none? Jason got none. Does it matter if you got 0 out of 5? No. What's the most important thing? That we all try our best. We all try. We're a little bit sleepy. It's okay. Now, I'd like to know, I picked out those 5 things that we're going to cover today. What did you write down on your A3 paper? I'd love to know your ideas. Is there something that I missed? Are there any really important characteristics of young learners that you think should be included in that list? Who wants to give you an idea? Yes?
So I just pick one from my list. That is forgetful.
Forgetful, okay. Forgetful, that's an interesting one. Yes, okay. They are forget. Do you mean they forget their student book when they come to class? They forget their student book? That's 4 years old, you know? They need to be taken care of. So they're forgetful. Yes?
I think a short attention span.
Short attention span. Excellent one, thank you. Yes, we need to make sure our activities are quick, they're engaging, because our students will lose interest.
Another characteristics of kids is curious.
Curious, okay. Thank you very much. They're curious, they're interested in the world around them, in their environment, they want to learn more. And I have a niece, and she just wants to put everything in her mouth. Give her a pen, put it in her mouth. So, anyone else? Yes, over here.
One of the characteristics is that they are also hyperactive in class, especially if they eat some candies or chocolates.
Ooh, okay, hyperactive, high energy levels. This is why it's not fair if you have a class party to do it before the last lesson of the day. Because the poor next teacher who has to go into the class after you've given them all the lollipops and sweets, it's not fair. Anything else? Yes?
Easily distracted.
Distracted. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Easily distracted, yes, they struggle to focus, right? I'm sure we've all seen it. That's why we have to come up with techniques, hands on our head, look at the board, because they're just like looking around at everything around the room. They're curious about what's around them. Okay, so thank you very much. Now I have some ideas for next time when I do one of the sessions. I can use those ideas to address the challenges. Thank you very much for sharing. Right, so today we are going to take some examples from Toy Team. And it's one of our new OUP textbooks. There are 3 different levels. 1, 2, and 3. Surprisingly, yes. And they are kind of traditional grammar and vocabulary focus, but there's a real focus on communication, collaboration, and global skills. They're full of bright pictures, imagery for young learners. They're very engaging and captivating. There's also characters that go all the way throughout. I can't remember their names. Their names are Bluebird, Archie, Ted, Dino, Little Bear, Robot, and they are a team together. It's easy to teach. There's a teacher's guide, all the notes inside, so if you're struggling for ideas or you're not very experienced, you can always just open the teacher's guide and there's a full planned lesson there for you to follow. It's super simple and lots of great ideas. Yes, and if you want to learn more about it, there's a few examples we have over there. Oh, I thought Jason was going to go and hold them up. We walked straight into the table. My mistake. There's some books on the table over there. If you wanted to have a quick flick through them, please feel free. And they come in 2 levels. So there's the normal version, and there's Toy Team Plus. It's got extra content in. It's designed for teachers who've got more time in their schedules to teach the book. Maybe you have more lessons in a week. So please feel free to have a look, and bear in mind all the things I'm doing today will be taken from Toy Team. Okay, so this book, Toy Team, why is it so good? Because we need to focus on the things that allow our students to thrive, and we need to focus on the things that will help to deliver for the needs of our students, cater to those characteristics, right? Short attention spans, easily distracted, curious, imaginative. In the book, there's opportunities for collaboration all the way through the book. And one thing to bear in mind, our children, kindergarten children, are they good at sharing? No. Oh, really? I think yes. Okay, I was going to say that. I find that they're, children, they are inherently, they have to build that skill, right? And some of our students might not have siblings at home. They might be only children. so that for them to come to English class, it's a great opportunity for them to learn those skills of sharing, of working with another person, collaborating, and being part of a team and not just working individually. There's story-based learning, so there's a really strong story focus all the way through the toy team, which will focus on at the end of the presentation. It's great for helping students become familiar with character, having a learning journey. There's songs and chants as well, which help with pronunciation, fluency, fun in the class, obviously repetitive, which is one thing that we really focus on with learners at this age. And there's a multisensory, this is touching, hearing, experiencing, right? Not just sat in a room at a desk, raising our hand and answering questions. We want students to be involved in what they're doing, using their hands, using their brains at the same time. And we'll focus a little bit on that today as well. And with toy team, you get this gigantic box, which has been traveling around that angle with me for the last sort of 15 hours. And it's got everything inside. So if you're a teacher, you spend lots of time going online to find vocabulary, posters, getting high quality images to make flashcards, printing them off, laminating them, organizing them. And once we've organized flashcards, they always stay in the right place, don't they? Mine do. My flashcards, whenever I need to find the right unit, they're in a classroom for some reason 20 kilometers away, and the one I need is missing. So with this, don't worry about that. If your classroom has one, they're all there for you to use. I'll do a quick demonstration. It's like I'm on a TV shopping channel. I don't have a glamorous assistant though, it's just me. So there are the flashcards with all the things from the unit, that's vocabulary, pictures, everything that you need. Let's put it back exactly where I got it so I don't get in trouble. We have posters. I'm not going to take out, but you must believe me, they're in here. If you want to come and have a look afterwards, please let me know. And these are really good for designing our classrooms. So I'm sure we all know the first few days of school, when the head of English is like, hey, go to your classroom and make it a beautiful, colourful, fun and engaging place to learn. And we draw on the boards. With this, you can basically take up all the posters, put them all up. You've got the hello posters, you've got routines for the beginning of the class, you've got numbers, the alphabet, and seasons. So just by using the posters from the box, we can make our classroom a really, really engaging place. We have pop-outs as well, so these things you can pop them out if you're telling a story. You can add magnets to them, sticky blue tack, put them on the back and stick them to the wall. We have a stamp as well, and we all know students absolutely love using the stamp for their work, and it's based on Archie, our friend over here. We have big books, so big, gigantic versions of the student book that are big size. If you're doing story lessons or teaching the book, you can do them in the class, right? And this guy. So, who is this? Who is this, you ask? Let's do a big reveal. Okay. What's that, Archie? You feel shy? Can everyone say, hello, Archie?
Hello, Archie.
You're still shy, Archie. Can everyone try a little bit louder to say, hello, Archie?
Hello, Archie.
Okay, so Archie is our new friend that will be in our class to teach everything from toy team. He's accompanying us as our new teaching assistant. And I'm interested to know from you guys, just some ideas quickly before we do anything. How would you use Archie in your class? How would you use a puppet? It could be to do anything, to teach, to comfort students. Just spend 2 minutes with your group. I'd love to hear your ideas and then we'll share. 2 minutes, let's go. 40 seconds left to share our ideas. Okay, you're a natural role in the conversation. We're ready to share our ideas. So, who could tell me just one idea they had with their group on how they could use our wonderful friend Archie in the class? Anybody? Yes, sir, over here.
Using a puppet is also a good way in introducing vocabulary words that makes enhance the attention of the student, especially when they have short span of attention, to catch their attention.
Thank you very much. Yes, we can use it to introduce vocabulary for the students. It keeps them engaged. It's not just the teacher saying it, right? It's a special friend that can use their imagination and they feel maybe more comfortable. Anyone else? Yes.
Actually, we could use it for question and answer. For example, we're introducing a new question for the kids, like, what color is it? And then Archie will be, the kids can use the puppet to answer because some kids are very shy. So like, it's color, yeah.
Thank you very much. That's a really good point. Some children are shy, right? When they're speaking to an adult, we might be able to break down that barrier, make them feel a little bit more comfortable if they're speaking to a puppet than they would be if they spoke to me or one of their teachers. Okay, so fantastic. I want to share some ideas that I have. You can use it to introduce new topics and new lessons, right? You can say, I'm excited to learn about this. Actually, are you excited? And we can introduce a new vocabulary or a new idea. It can act as the teacher's assistant. So, if the class is being a little bit noisy, you can say, do you think the class is being a little bit noisy today, Archie? And then the students might, because it's a bit more fun, they might be more interested in listening to Archie than they would be to the teacher. We can give the teacher ideas. So, what should we do now? Archie thinks we should do this. What do you think we should do? Have the students interact with them that way. We can practice songs and chants, so it's always more fun if the puppet is singing along than just the teacher. And we can use it to comfort students. If the student's feeling really sad, maybe they don't want to express what they're feeling to a teacher or to an adult, by having them talk to a cuddly toy, it makes them a bit more open, a bit more willing to share, and get a bit more comfortable in that scenario, speaking to a puppet. Okay, so now just to recap quickly what we'll be going through for the next sort of part of the session. Learning through play, hands-on learning, repetition, imagination with learners, and active learning. So we're going to start off with looking at learning through play. So here is a fun game I like to do to practice phonics with my very young learners. And this can be adapted for the bottom level of kindergarten all the way up to grade 2 or 3. Grade 4, a little bit too old for this one, but if you teach primary school, then you can put this in your class. So first of all, learning through play. Why is it important? It makes language meaningful, right? If we ask students to just ask and answer and repeat something, they're not going to remember it because there's no purpose for them to use that language. If they're using the language to play a game, it's competitive, and there's a reason they have to use it, then they're going to be more motivated to use it properly. It's a social experience, so when we play games, students have to follow the rules. They have to learn to be patient, they have to take turns. They can't all play at the same time, they might have to make a line and wait. in order to, again, get points and win prizes. It's a really important activity to develop those social skills. Well-being. So, it helps to reduce stress. It makes learning more enjoyable. Research shows that students, we don't need research to tell us this, that students enjoy going to class more if they know they're going to play, right? And it helps to break up those lessons, allows them to move around, reduce the levels of stress, and easily distracted, short attention spans, helps to keep them engaged. And it's moving around, physical development. The students are moving around, developing their motor skills, right? Developing their where should my hands be, where should my feet be, touching things, it's helping them to develop those active and physical parts of their body that is not just sat down writing in class. So here's a fun game I like to play with my primary school students. And we might get one very brave group to come to the front and demonstrate this game for everyone else. If you're feeling brave, your group will win 2 stamps. Let that sink in. 2 entire stamps to stamp your students' work. I can tell we're too excited. Okay, well, I'll get my wonderful assistant Jason to show us in a second. So what I like to do with a phonics game, I like to get the pictures up on the board. At this point, often students might not have good letter recognition, they can't read, but it's a fun game. So, I get the students to line up. For very, very young learners, it's very simple. You get them to line up in the classroom in front of the board. You can set up flashcards, put them on a projector, however you want, and they line up and you just say a word and the students repeat. For example, insect, insect. The students can't say insect. They have to pronounce the word very, very clearly. If they do that, they can go sit down with their hands on their heads. You can adapt this. You can have them roll the dice. You can have them give you a high five. You can also say the first sound. So, in. And they have to take insect. And you go sit down. The idea with this, with a 3-year-old, it's too complicated to make it into a competition. It's too complicated to make it into a game with too many moving parts. So we keep it simple, but they feel like they're doing something, right? They're up, they're moving, they're repeating words, and it's fun for them. But now we get to the more difficult one, right? This is for higher level students, and we make it into a race. So I like to set up my, if you have an iPad, it works pretty well for this. I like to set up my phone with a stopwatch, and it'll be on 0, 0, 0. And we'll have team 1, okay, team 1 over here. The students have to line up. Then, this is kind of make it much more complicated. I will say one word, the students must say 3 other words. So for example, I'll say insect. The student has to say duck, nest, mouse. Then they have to be a rock, paper, scissors. Or they have to roll the dice. And when they roll the dice, they have to get more than 4. So if they roll 1, 2, 3, they have to roll again. If they roll 4, 5, 6, they can go and sit down, hands on their head. When the last student is sat down with their hands on their head, I stop the timer, write it on the board. Then it's time for team 2 to play, repeat the activity. The fastest team is the winner. The important thing with this is that we are drilling the pronunciation before, because we're not going to let them sit down or roll the dice until they've said the word perfectly. We're not going to accept mao or ne. It has to be mouse, nest, making it clear. So we're doing it before, we're drilling the pronunciation. The students have a meaningful objective in using the language so they can win the game. I know what I just explained because it sounds quite complicated. So we're going to do it at the front. Which team likes stamps? Every team likes stamps. What a silly question. Which team really wants 2 stamps for their staff room? Or I choose the most terrified looking team. And then down. And look more deep into the eye, deep in the eye, and see who wants to play. I'm going to choose. You're all avoiding my eyes. Okay, let's stand up. Can everyone give a big round of applause, please? Which teacher's from? Which school is that from? An English Centre. Which English Centre? Smile English Centre. From UKA. Okay, can we all give a big round of applause to the UKA Smile English Centre? Please come to the front, ladies. You are very lucky and you get to play. Here we go. Let's have at least 4 of you. At least 4 of you. You don't all have to play. So at least 4. You can come over here, right? So come make a line at the front. Make a line at the front. Thank you very much. And when we make our students make a line, I often make them do it 2 or 3 times until it's absolutely perfect. They have 10 seconds, make a line. If they can't do it correctly, go, sit down, do it again. Now, I'm going to start the timer. Okay? Then I'm going to say 1 word. You can say the 3 words that I don't say. Okay? Then you're going to play rock, paper, scissors with me. If you need to, you can go back to the table, put your hands on your head. Okay, so I'll say 1 word. How many words do you say? What do you do after that? If you lose, what happens? You do rock, paper, scissors again. And if you win, you go sit down with your. Okay, you all know the rules. So I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. Nest. Nest. Okay, let's go. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Paper, scissors. Paper, scissors. Okay, let's go. Go. Okay. Paper, scissors. Okay. Okay, wait, go sit down. Next one. Nest. Okay, sit down. And last one, nest. Okay, sit down. Hands on our heads, hands on our heads. And stop. 50 seconds. 50 seconds. Big round of applause. Okay. And Jason, can we please have Peter, can we please have 2 stamps for the wonderful teachers from UK over there. Thank you very much. So that's how we do that one. You can do it with 3 teams, 2 teams, whatever you want. It gets the students up and moving, and it's a fun one in the class. So why is this game fun? Students are speaking, they have to use really clear and correct pronunciation. It's competitive and it's playful, right? But this is not just learning to play, they're also repeating. We're making it clear they have to pronounce the N sounds or blended sounds as well. It's a social game. They're playing with friends, they're playing against people, they're competitive, right? They're moving around, standing up, they're running, they're practicing working with their friends if you have a smaller classroom. They're using their critical thinking. You can even make it more difficult by saying a sentence. So you might say, instead of insect, you might say, the insect flies away. Students have to listen, insect. I can't say insect, I must say the 3 other words. They're problem solving quickly, they're using their logic skills to figure out what to say. And they're achieving something. They beat you rock, paper, scissors, right? Or they've rolled the dice. Or if they're a really young class, you might have given them a high five. Even that is enough to make the students feel when they sit down that they've contributed to their team. And if they're young enough, you can always get away with, guess what? Both teams win. And everyone's happy, and it's a fun way to finish up that activity. Now, the next one is hands-on learning. So what is hands-on learning? It's learning, it's making things, it's using our hands, and it's multi-sensory, it's holistic. Students are using their sight, their sound, their touch, and it helps them to understand things better. They memorize things more when it's in their hand. Using blocks, making a little review book, whatever it is going to lead to deeper retention in their long-term memory. Fine motor skill development. They're practicing being very careful, they're improving their hand-eye coordination. You might be asking them to draw between color between the lines or something like that. And I'm sure we've all been in a kindergarten class. We think the students are coloring very carefully inside the line, and when we look over and it's just a complete scribble all over the paper. But that's okay, as long as they're trying. That's the most important thing. They're independent, so they're developing their self-confidence. They're creating things by themselves, and they get to show you with their parents something that they have made. It's really important to build that confidence in class. And there was a funny little anecdote from one of my best friends. He has a daughter. She's absolutely wonderful. She's 2 years old. And on her birthday, I bought her a big dolphin toy. It's pink and blue, very beautiful. And I went to his house, and I was giving her this toy, and she just didn't care because she had like a little scribble that she made in kindergarten. Every time I tried to give her the toy, she looked at it for 10 seconds, put it aside, and held up this drawing and showed it to everybody. And he was like, I don't understand why she cares more about this drawing she's made in class than this toy you bought her. And it's because it's something she's made. She's very proud that she's done something in class and brought it home to show people, developing that confidence. And it's problem solving. Students have to learn how to share crayons with each other. Oh, I can't use blue. I might have to use red for this part. They can't ask the teacher to help them with absolutely everything. So they have to figure out, they all have to share the teacher's attention. What can I ask the teacher for? What do I have to figure out myself? And we can do things like crafts in class, and they have these in 20, there's one at the end of every 2 units, 3 in each book. And we can always use Archie to set the scene. So, put Archie in the box, we're making a gift for Archie's birthday. Okay? The students have a purpose, they have a reason that they have to be careful. We have to be extra careful to make them look nice. Okay? Because this is present. We get a present that wants to look beautiful, right? And then we do step-by-step modeling and have checkpoints to make sure all of our students are at the same place without anyone getting left behind. What we don't want is having a 30-minute activity like this, and at the end of 30 minutes, one student hasn't even written their name on the paper. By stopping, checking, has everyone got their crayon? Yes. Right, okay, and everyone show me their paper. We're stopping and we're making sure that no one is getting left behind. At the end as well, I always get my students, no matter what it is, stand up and show the class everyone has to applaud. Doesn't matter if it's terrible or amazing. Having them build that confidence of standing up and displaying something they've made goes a long way in kind of developing the public speaking skills later in life, or feeling comfortable standing in front of an audience. And we'll do a bit of a craft activity at the end. You might have noticed there are some plates on your table. They're not for lunch, they are for a craft activity. So we'll do more on this in a few minutes when we finish up the session. So why is it good to do things like this? We can help our students to consolidate learning, review their learning, and help to make abstract learning, abstract concepts more concrete. The students are being social, like I said, they're sharing the teacher's attention. It's holistic. They're using their motor skills, their memory, they're practicing their speech, and their listening as well. They're solving multiple problems at the same time. They're motivated to make something beautiful when you give them a purpose, a present for their parents or for Archie. And they're building their confidence if we get them to stand up and show and tell them. There's lots of different things that can be helped by doing this. And I know that it's very easy for me to say, you should do crafts with your students at the end of every 2 units. It's very different when you have 20 students in a class and they're all 4 years old, and you know, having to share crayons and scissors. It is difficult, but if it's done properly, scaffolded well, it can be a really, really useful tool for young learners. Now, repetition. Why is repetition important? Language acquisition. By using a word over and over again or a single grammar structure, it leads to deeper retention. Students are remembering things more deeply. Confidence. It means that when they come to using the language outside of class, if they've used it multiple times in class in different contexts, they're more confident in using it with less hesitation outside class. If you've said something 10 times in class, you don't have to spend 5-10 seconds remembering the word that you need to use with the grammar structure, right? Feel confident in using it much more. Fluency. Students are able to pronounce vocabulary better, maybe if they're repeating a sentence over and over again. Connected speech, for example, remembering that not each word in a sentence must be pronounced individually. There are ways that we can shorten words, combine words in more natural speech to sound like native English speakers. And long-term memory. The more we use a word, the more we remember it, basically. It's just true. So what can we do with this one? I like to play the flashcard bridge activity. And so I tell students that there are crocodiles. We need to watch out. There are crocodiles in the water. And I'll take some flashcards and I put them out on the floor. We have to all repeat together. Chef. Like that. So we need to cross the river. We all need to be very, very careful because if we fall off, we might get eaten. We also want our students to avoid standing on the flashcards, right? So having standing next to it is a much better idea. Then it depends how you want to do it. You can either do the whole class needs to be quiet, if you've got a lot of students and it's difficult to manage, or you can have all of the students repeating along with the student who's walking across the bridge. That means everyone's involved. Make sure the students know they have to speak loudly and clearly. Might make a rule like the reason that the wood that we're standing on is so strong is because the students are speaking clearly. We need to do that to make sure the wood doesn't break. And then, after you've played the game a few times, I would swap out some of the flashcards, put them in a different order, so the students can't just repeat what they've heard before, right? Right. And we can also do it with grammar structures. So, you can say, you can have one student ask, what do you want to be? I want to be a chef. What do you want to be? I want to be a doctor. What do you want to be? Etc. It's a really fun way of having the students use their imagination and repeating grammar structures over and over again. Very minimal preparation. I made this animation. How should you do it? I'm going to put it up while you watch that. Okay, it wasn't clear, but that should make it clear now. You see the flashcards. The other one is using the song. So I like to use the song, and in towards the end we have 3 songs per unit. 2-unit songs, one more traditional nursery rhyme style song. And some classes, hands up whose class loves using the song? Hands up whose class doesn't like doing the song? Okay, I find it completely arbitrary. Some classes love doing the song, some really don't. But there is a way to get all the students engaged, even if they're not really into the song. It's a really useful tool. So I always choose my class monitor, which is my challenging student in the class. Could be a boy, could be a girl, usually a boy. And I think there's some responsibility. You are the police officer in the class, right? Their job is to go around and make sure everyone is singing clearly, no one is just mumbling like that, enunciating the words properly. That is their job. They are my sidekick, my helper. I might get Archie to ask them to do their job, or you can make a little badge, however you want to do it. And then on the classroom presentation tool that you get with OUP products, you can sing the song 3 different times. You have slow, medium, and fast. What I always do is we probably listen to the song one time first, the students are just used to it, then we do it slow. So at this point, it's easy for the students, they can follow it, they can practice slowly. And then, the classic, there's a faster version, but I bet you can't do it faster. Do you think your students will want to do it faster? Yes. If you tell them they can't do something, then they want to do it, right? Then we do it medium speed, and then again, we do it even faster. Oh, there's a faster version, there's no way you can do it faster. By the time you're doing the fast one, it gets a bit silly, right? They're probably not enunciating very clearly, but it's just a bit of fun in the class, and they kind of end up in a bit of giggles. But the whole point is at least they've sung the song twice, maybe even 3 times, at different speeds to build their confidence. And then there's a really fun feature, which is you can record and listen to yourself. So, after you've sung the song,
listening 105. Vocabulary.
once you've sung the song with the students, you might get the best group or the worst group, whatever you want, to come to the front and record themselves singing. And this is a really fun one for helping students to improve their pronunciation as well.
Day. Day.
So this is the song. Sing.
Listening.
Night.
Okay, we'll just do the pronunciation here. Night. Night. But if you do it better than that, you can hear the students and they really love doing that. They really love being the ones that come to the front, they get to sing into the laptop. And when they hear their own voices, no one likes hearing their own voice, right? It sounds weird when you listen to it back. But listening to your own pronunciation is such an interesting tool and so good for helping students to self-identify and self-correct their own mistakes. It's a really fun tool. So why is it fun to use? Why is it good to use these 2 activities in class? First, it's fun, we can strengthen pronunciation, and we can improve fluency as well through singing and through play. The students are playing a game, they're using their imagination, especially if you're doing the flashcard bridge, right? They're imagining it in a dangerous situation. They're motivated to get to the other side of the bridge, for example, or motivated if they're the best singer, they can come and sing into the laptop. And they're moving around. If you want, you always attach TPR, physical active actions, to vocabulary when we're singing, and it helps the students strengthen the connections between words and concepts. It also has them moving around, burning off energy, improving their attention in the class. And it's a social experience as well. If you choose to do a question and answer with the flashcard bridge. Now, active learning. Why is active learning important? Because, first of all, motivated. Students are involved in their learning, they're doing something, and it leads to higher levels of enjoyment, higher levels of interest. Active learning is the opposite of passive learning. Passive learning is students sat down, us telling them something, then listening and kind of receiving the information rather than actually being involved in the learning itself. Understanding helps to strengthen students' memory and their concepts. It's imaginative, so students are engaging their imagination. If we're playing a game and we're setting a scene for them, they're building their personal character and they're having to use their own ideas to create a world or that they can kind of step into. And it's creative. Students are encouraged to express themselves, they're encouraged to use more creative thinking rather than just repeating what they've been told or remembering facts and information. So with younger students, we can't really do this with adults in the room, unfortunately, we're too old. But it might seem silly, but doing things like active animal games is really, really fun. So we can use archery to set the scene. Something like we're deep in the jungle. And I like to put different habitats in different parts of the group. So you might have, let's say if you're doing animals, you might have river, desert, jungle, something like that in the corners of the group. And then saying the animal and students act it out loud. They have to find the correct habitat, right? Or you can assign them all different animals and they will guess what each other is. If you're a fish, can you go to the jungle and pretend to be a fish? Probably not. You go to the river. They have to use their critical thinking to figure out where they should go. It can be go to a room if you're doing the rooms of the house. Okay, it's after school. What do? You look around, there's the dining table. You go, sit down and do their homework, or go to the kitchen. Having them act out things while they're listening to the teacher is really, really good for making those abstract ideas more concrete and building their imagination as well. One thing I love to do for letter recognition, and we're going to do this together, is the fun one. I know we have all different ways to teach letter recognition. Sometimes I would say a letter and I'll ask students to try and write it on the whiteboard if their letter recognition is really, really bad. We're lucky in Vietnam that an alphabet is the same as the English alphabet, so we don't have that struggle of teaching a brand new alphabet to our really young learners. So I will start off individually. You can choose any word from the comments one, and you can do this individually or in a sentence. So I might say X, and have the students have to make it with their fingers. So can everyone please make the letter from zebra? Zebra. Show me with their hands. With your fingers. Show me zebra. It's Z. Thank you, Ollie. Great job. Still struggling? Some of us. Well done over there. Great job. Okay. Right. You can also say it with a sentence. So, the yellow cat. What is the letter? It's Y. There we go. Make it with their finger. That's the first step. Then, students must work with a partner. So, I'd like you all to choose a partner. It has to be someone sat next to you. You must make the letter with one hand each. Okay? So, I will say the sentence. You listen to the word and make the letter with your hand. The funny fox lives in the garden. There we go. All using your arms, very creative. You're working together. Like Ollie and Lynn over here. There we go. Well done. Some of us. Okay, now do another one. The yellow jacket is wet. With a partner, one hand each. There we go, over there. Excellent. 10 points. 10 points over here as well. Right. There we go. Okay, and for the final one, I'll do the sleepy zebra. Hands or arms? Either one, hands or arms. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. Right. So, what's interesting about that? Everyone did it differently. Some people use their whole arms, some people were leaning over each other, some people were using one finger, some were using their whole hands. It's up to your students to figure out how to do it, right? What's the purpose? We're getting them thinking very, very deeply about the letter shape. How can we do this to solve the problem? Once we've done that, and then get to the most fun activity, make the letter on our bodies. So, I choose a few students. So, depending on what the letter is, right? If it's an M, I probably have to choose 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're all scared when we choose you. We don't have to do this one if you don't want. Who would like to do this activity? We have one over here, we have Ollie, and we have over here, yes, stand up, okay. Usually I would have students lie on the floor. I don't think it's fair to have you lie on the floor. But, could we please make the letter A? Go, with 10 seconds, letter A. Okay, there we go. Well done. And you can sit down. There's a prize. Would you like a prize over there? We've got one left. Over here. Prize. Who gets the prize? For her. Okay, there we go. Round of applause. Well done. So with this one, it depends on, you can choose different numbers of students. You might choose 2. You might choose 6. It means they have to figure it out themselves. They're working collaboratively. You'll often have one, usually a girl, who will take charge and shout at everyone to tell them what to do. But it's really, really fun. You can give them a time limit and they can sit down for the next group part. It's just a fun way of really developing them as a recognition and getting them up and moving. So it helps to strengthen the cognitive relationship between concept and reality. And learning through play, the problem solving. Oh, an S doesn't have an arm there. Something like that. Your legs too long. Put them in like that. It's multisensory, they're using all of their limbs, all of their senses. They're being imaginative, they're imagining the letter shape and then problem solving to make it, and it's a social activity. Now, stories. Hands up who loves using the story in class. I love using the story in class. I think it's my favorite lesson. I'd rather spend less time with grammar and vocabulary and reinforce it when using the story, especially with young learners. Why is it important? It helps us to connect words with visuals and helps us to understand topics better. For example, we can tell students the cat is behind the table. When they see in the story the cat was sitting behind the table, it helps to make that information concrete. It frames the language in context. It helps them to see how things might be the same as their personal lives. Where am I sitting? I'm sitting behind a table. They can identify with characters, they can relate to situations, and they can be creative. We can use it to help develop their critical thinking, their soft skills, and applying their own values. Often in the story there's a value that's taught. We can have the students apply their own values to stories as well, personalize them. It's a very, very strong tool. So how do you usually teach the story in class? I'd like to know, do you prefer watching the video? If you have a video, do you prefer reading and the class listening? Do you prefer having the students teach themselves? Let me know. I'll give you 1 minute to discuss with your group, and I'd like to know your answers now. 70 more seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'd like to know, I have some ideas for some group. I'm going to choose a group that I haven't heard from yet. So, I haven't heard from you yet. How do you guys do the story? Do you do a video in class? Do you play audio? Do you follow along? Do you teach from the book?
I will share my story, how I teach the story in class. And I hope that I got some feedback on something that I do from you guys. First of all, I will introduce the story. After that, I will introduce the characteristic in the story. And after introducing the characteristic, I will let the whole student listen to the story to the video. Yes, after listen to the video, I will make it break and let them practice sentence by sentence. I divide the class in U, the letter U. So the first group will be speaking one sentence, and then another group will be another sentence. I will do the role play, big group first, and after that I let them repeat. And all of this group will stand up and present their sentence. The next group, let turn, repeat their turn by turn. And after that, I will take the student. I will choose some volunteer student first. We will remember and can role play. Because I only have, because I think at the public school, so I have no time, just 35 minutes. So that's why I will repeat for the next lesson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, we have been watching the video there. We have repetition. We have role play, having the students choose a character and go around. That sounds really, really engaging. Okay. And I'm sure we all have different ways, I'm sure we all have different methods. So, things that I found when I was observing some teachers, when I was teaching, is often, and again, if you have a public school class of 60 students, it's very difficult to manage all of those and give each student individualized attention, right? So, this might work in your ecosystem, it might not. But generating interest, so instead of just opening the story, now let's read. Get the students really interested. Ask them different level questions. What do you think is happening in this picture? How does the character feel? Where are they? Just it gives us an opportunity for sort of risk-free guessing for the student. There's no right answer. So if sometimes our students can be afraid of taking a risk in class, answering because they don't know the correct answer. At this point, there are no correct answers. So it's a really fun way of developing their confidence and allowing them to contribute. Then, make it immersive. I like to turn off the lights when I watch videos with kindergarten because the students know it's, first of all, the goal is to make it immersive. The second goal is to sort of make it like a routine. They know when the lights go off, they're going to watch the video, they're expected to be quiet, find a place to sit and watch it. By doing that, you're making it from just, okay, we're going to watch a video, to like, okay, here we go. We're going to turn off the lights and watch a movie together. There's also a lot to be said for the way that we speak. So telling the story, then the tiger went into the forest and met the lion. That's okay. What's better is lots of pauses, being dramatic, using whispering as well. So then, the lion came into the forest and saw, right? Something like that. It helps students, it helps to build excitement and kind of you're building an atmosphere, anticipation. What's going to happen next, right? Involving students. So, always asking students, well, what do you think is next? Maybe you can ask students to act out some of the parts of the story towards the end. Maybe you can have Archie act different as one of the characters, and they can ask the students, and the students can give their own personalized answers. And bring in, if you're lucky enough to have something lying around, only you can bring in use real objects can be really fun. I often have students, if we're watching a video or I'm reading a story, I'll make them do the actions like, then they got into the car. Okay, everybody, strap yourselves in. We're all in the car together. Then the rocket blasted off. We'll play some sounds maybe from YouTube. And you hold on like that. We're making it an immersive experience and we're involving them the whole way through. So here is the story from Toy and we can do things like, when we start off, we can open the book, or we have the big books here, and we can start asking students questions to generate their interest. Can you see the bear? His name is Ted. Can you say hello? When they're very, very young, it's really good to get them familiarized with the character. Oh my. So, can you see objects in the picture? And then have the students look at the objects and they can see the objects out loud. So we're kind of testing, or we're checking their knowledge. What do they remember already? The students who might not remember the language, they get reinforced, they can have opportunities to practice it. Then we start asking things like, more critical thinking questions, a bit higher level. So we're going from the lower level up to the higher levels. What animals live on neck? Where are the animals? And this one we might ask, how does the bear feel? How does he look? What do you think happened before we even start reading the story? And so we can ask students things like this. What do you think? How do the animals feel in these two pictures? What happened to the characters? What do you think happened to them? What might happen next? And then let's look at picture 5 and picture 6 over here. How are they different? Right? Depending on the student's vocabulary level, we can even have them stand up and come to the front and point and maybe act out. Oh, and this one, the giraffe is like this. And this one is like this, right? Just to get them thinking about getting them involved. And there's different ways we can deliver. We can use the big book at the front of the class and sit and make it an immersive experience. We can use the video that's embedded into the CPT. And we can play the audio and have to follow along in the book, however we like. We also like to do, when I do the story, we can so you can watch the video like this, but you can also read through and have the students follow along. And then I like to have students guess which panel of this, if you listen to the story the first time, then play the audio, and they have to point at the correct
Look! The rocket!
They have to look and choose which picture is that. You can also use it for practicing pronunciation. So if there's a part of the story that made them really laugh, right? Look, there's the rocket.
Look! The rocket crashed!
You might get those come up. Look, the rocket crashed. Look, the rocket crashed. We can take out individual parts of the story, parts the students really like, and have them repeat it. It can be a fun activity to do in class. Okay, now, we're running short of time, so other things I like to do, picture sequencing. I like to give the students the pictures without the numbers, and they must put the pictures in order. If they don't have the language level, it's okay to just put the pictures in order. If they're a bit higher level, they can explain why they don't like that. Role-playing scenes, again, one group of students will do scene 1, one group will do scene 2, one group will do scene 3. It means they don't have to focus too much on the whole story, it makes it more manageable. Story walks are putting panels around the class, and students walk and find the different panels. And then find the panel. So you can print out the different pictures, put them on the table, play the audio, and the students have to find it, point to the right one there, or walk around the classroom to find it as well. Now, it's time to do some hands-on learning to finish off our activity. So, you might have noticed that you have a paper on your table. You should have one paper per person. I thought Ollie was touching his plate before I said. You should. So, before you touch your plates, please let me explain what we're going to do. You're going to take your plates and take a pen. And you're going to trace around your fingers onto the plate. Okay? So, do you share a plate for your whole group, or does everyone get one plate? Everyone gets one plate. You can take your plate now. I'll give you 1 minute to trace around your fingers. Let's go. On the back of the plate. It must be on the back, not on the front. Very, very important. On the back, like Ollie's done over here. When you finish, can you just hold up your plate and let me see to make sure everyone's done? Well done, excellent, thank you, thank you. Okay, we're having checkpoints here, let's make sure everyone has got it done. The Skyline team is still good over here. Okay, you put your plate back on the table. And now, I would not like you to write down anything just yet. I would like you to first talk to your colleagues, to your team members, about the following 3 things. Excuse me. We can take photos afterwards. You have 2 minutes to discuss with your colleagues about what you want to write, and then when I say go, you will write down your ideas. So first of all, are you going to write or are you going to talk? Talk, wonderful. So I want you to think of these 3 things. Number 1, what is something that I've spoken about for the last hour and a half that surprised you? Okay? What is number 2? Something that you want to try. One activity that you think would work in your classroom. And 3, what's one thing you think would not work in your classroom? You might say, well, I can't do the story lesson like that because my class is too big. Something like that. Okay? So 2 minutes to discuss with your group before you write. 3, 2, 1, go. One minute to talk with your colleagues before you write. Okay, so now you have a few minutes to talk. I'd like you to pick up your pens and write 1, 2, and 3. Do not write on this finger and this finger, and do not write on the palm. Only write on the thumb and the first 2 fingers, please. Okay, that's 3 things in total. You have 2 minutes to write down your ideas.
In the finger.
Inside the finger. Inside the finger. When you finish, you put your plates in the air so I can see that everyone's on the same page. Ollie's done. He's showing off. First one done. We have one done over here. Remember, if you finish, put your plates in the air so I can see. Thank you. A few of us are finished now. I'll give you 30 more seconds. This group all done. Very good. Well done. Twenty more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you didn't finish, it's okay as long as you tried your best. There we go. Okay, so I'd like to have some ideas. What's something that surprised you about today? You've never heard of before. Maybe you just learned that very young learners need to have short attention spans. I'm not sure. Maybe we're having the right stories. Who would like to share something that surprised them? I'm going to go to a table that hasn't been said yet. You guys don't get so scared. You're okay. Over here. What's something that surprised you?
I think what's creativity you is able to make the language for the students create one of the imagination.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Using the finger activity. Yes. Okay. Very surprising. Yes. Over here.
Well, actually, I'm working with secondary students, so I joined the lunch experience and working with especially young learners. So the thing that left a great impression on me is using the puppet to introduce new words or instructions or leading a story to the class. So I think that would be definitely a thing that I will try in the future with my secondary school.
Okay, very brave. Very brave. You might want to get a life-size cardboard cutout of someone from BTS, something like that, and have them help you with the class. Excellent idea, thank you. And what did people think? What's one thing that you think will not work in your class for any reason? Don't say, oh, watching the video because I don't have a TV. I can't really watch that. But something else, when your class is too big, too easily distracted, what's one activity you think will just not work? Oh, all the way back. Oh, Peter's there. Nice.
I think I can try the cross the river game. It's not because it's not good, but because my class will be a bit small and teaching primary students, so we need to move all the desks to play such games.
Okay, right, so that can be a problem. If our classroom is small or if all of our desks are maybe attached to the floor, it can also be an issue. Depending on how your school works, you can take them out to the corridor to play as well. What I sometimes do is I might make a flashcard tunnel. So instead of a bridge, the students can crawl under the tables, and that's the way they get across. That's an idea. You can also do that for the story lesson if they go into a cave. Now everyone, get on your hands and knees and crawl through the cave. We have to be flexible, right, with our classrooms. Sometimes we can't move them how we want to, but we can find creative ways of doing activities around that. Thank you for your feedback. Anything else, another activity people would be scared to try because it would not work in their class? Seems like everyone will try everything. Okay, right, so I think I need to finish up fairly soon. So thank you very much, and I would like to get your opinions on the training that we did today. And this is feedback for me and for OUP, not for the organization of the event. So for example, if you say, oh, it started too early. It's not about that, it's about the content of the session. We really appreciate if you could just spend 1 minute